Femme House fam, what's happening? This is her Mix-a-Lot co-founder and executive director of Femme House. We are here today for this edition of Pass the Mic with Victory, a 2023 Femme House fellow, in fact. Victory also goes by VIBRACIONES as a DJ and Flowing Frequencies as a producer. Victory, how you doing, boo?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate having you here. I'm really glad that we were able to make this time, especially now because fellowship applications for both the Teresa Velasquez Memorial Scholarship and the Femme House Foundation Scholarship open in about a week, and you are a former Femme House fellow, so it feels like a really wonderful, like full circle moment. And we'll get to that, but tell us and the listeners here today, what is your superhero origin story? How did you get to exactly this moment with us right now?
I love that you say superhero origin story because it seems like it's not that huge of a journey, but when you look at it in retrospectively, it certainly is. Uh, well, I guess I could start off that I've always been a musician. I've been classically trained since very young age. I started doing voice and piano when I was about like 9 years old, and I got very into the classical world. And as anybody would probably know, that's kind of a very cutthroat world, super competitive. And I was a soprano, which made it even more competitive, which is like a certain voice part in opera. Just like the most difficult thing that you could really do is to train your voice from a very young age. And I did that rigorously for quite a few years up until I was a young adult. I went to Florida State University and I went to music school, and music school wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing, Lo. It kind of sucked out all that creativity from me. It really made me super stressed, and on top of being, a first time college student, it was super difficult. It was I was the first generation to go to school in my family, so I had a lot of expectations on me. And when I made the decision to drop out of music school, it was actually kind of a huge deal for me because up until that point, that was really who I was. So I transitioned out of the music world, and I just ended up trying to find things that I could, I guess, create some sort of a fulfillment with in my life aside from music. But music never really left. Music was always on the side. And I grew up in Miami, which is a very culturally and musically rich or place, excuse me, city. Florida's super cool too, but Miami's like the epicenter. So we went and to a couple of raves when I was young. I grew up through with a lot of DJs, a lot of producers, and there were moments where my community in Miami, we would host kind of like little camping trips in Central Florida. And we would go up to like Ocala National Forest, and we would do like raves in the forest. And this became kind of a yearly thing. And through that, I gained like some sort of appreciation for electronic music. I really have my sisters to thank for that because they were always so involved with that, and my younger sister Amy was always showing me music from all sorts of labels. And slowly but surely, I kind of found my way back to music. And throughout that process, I experienced a lot of difficult life situations. I became houseless during the pandemic. I lost a very important person in my life. Fortunately, they passed away due to alcoholism. So there was a lot of things that I was rebuilding from. And then eventually I found DJing. And I always knew DJing was there. I was like, okay, it's fun. It's you get to mix music and stuff. And I never really knew the technicality that truly went into it and all the knowledge of the gear and of artists, of genres and music, and just how to entertain a crowd. But I knew how to perform. I had that experience performing, and I had that experience as a musician. But those two worlds, they intersect seldomly, and when they do, it is quite beautiful. But I was never exposed to how to DJ, so I slowly but surely taught myself how to DJ. I would still attend all these events that my friends were throwing as organizers here down in Miami. I'd go to the rave in the woods that we would have in Central Florida, and slowly but surely, I really found my footing. And yeah, for the past couple of years, I've been DJing and now I'm producing, and it's been such a beautiful journey to see my growth as a musician. and as a person. And I really just look back at that young version of myself that didn't really know what they were doing with music, and I'm just so happy that I didn't completely take that out of my life, and I'm very grateful that I found my way back into it, because it's such a huge part of who I am. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and it would really suck to just stop. So yeah, that's my superhero story. I guess it's like like a butterfly moment, a transformative moment, and now I'm just like, I look back at this person, they're so different, and that's okay. I accept that. It's
You
really
know, it's
fun.
so what's so great about that story, and it's sort of a common thread that I end up talking to nearly everyone that comes on this show about. You talk about how your family led you back, how your community led you back to this part of yourself that they sort of recognized as important and intrinsic to who you are. I know that community building is something that's really important to you personally and also professionally. It's something that you center in your work. How do you go about building community with the Miami scene? I know you have a party called Fun Raver. I know that you're extremely plugged in to your local community. How do you build those relationships? How do you foster safe places for people to come experience that community that's been so important to you?
Well, building community was very difficult for me at first. I will say that, because growing up in the classical musical world, you are just exposed to, you have to practice by yourself. You have to maintain your image, and you just can't associate with other musicians. And if you do, yeah, you got to be cordial about it. So I was always in this mind frame that nobody would really accept me as a musician, because maybe they thought that I came from like a world that was too, like, too uh, bougie, I guess you could say. I really don't know what other word to use, but um, I had a difficult time building community. I'm not gonna lie, and I think that's the reason why I created Funraver, because I wanted a safe space initially for folks to come, specifically queer, trans people of color, to come and party safely, and to highlight femme and gender nonconforming DJs and producers. It initially started as a philanthropic effort to form a community. So our first party was a Barbie themed rave. Back when the Barbie movie was out, it really was such a fun thing to plan. And we partnered with the Florida Access Network, which is a nonprofit organization that does reproductive justice. We were able to raise about $4,500 through that party, donate
Wow.
those proceeds to the Florida Access Network, and that was a pro bono performance. Every single performer, DJ. I had my sister, who's a fire and LED flow artist. She just recently performed at Envision. Shout out to my sister. She's a
Wow.
baddie. She's a baddie. So she performed, and then I had a couple of other DJs that I really recognized and admired in the scene, and they performed such awesome sets. And everything was pro bono, and we had a great time. And through that experience, I realized, wow, okay, so if I really put my head and my mind into it, and I really prioritize, organize, and plan, then there's nothing that I can't do. I have this very strong will that if there's a will, there's a way. I really believe that building community is truly all about, first of all, networking with people. And networking is not so like, oh, let me get your deets, let me find out what you can do. It's more so about building relationships with folks and asking them, about themselves, and slowly but surely you'll get to know a little bit more about that person. And I find that that has been such an important lesson for me, learning how to connect with people on a individual basis, because not everybody is the same, and not everybody has gone through the same journey. So building community for me is really about being intentional,
Mm.
talking to people one on one, learning about their story, learning about why they're doing music, why they're in the scene, why they're in the industry, and that's on an individual basis. And I think people have to be mindful of that, because uh, building connections is really just like, it's so it takes time. It's like a step by step basis, and the more that you commit yourself to developing yourself in the scene and developing yourself in the industry, and really committing to intentionally building these relationships, I feel the more benefits you can get from that. And overall, you'll become a more well-rounded person. Building community as a group effort, however, that is something that, as an organizer, I have my moments where I'm still learning, and I'm having my goals met. Sometimes I don't have the most successful parties. Sometimes these parties are amazing. And then I think about it and I'm just like, what is most important is that people came and they had fun. And that is what Fun Raver is all about, because I want my friends and my community to be able to party responsibly and safely. So we always provide Narcan. Our first few parties, when Florida Access Network did have the availability, we were providing Plan B, we were providing pregnancy strips, we were providing accessibility for folks in the community. And I tried to just be mindful of my lineups, to make sure that I pick femmes, and that I curate lineups with femmes and gender nonconforming artists, trans folks, people of color. That's my due diligence as a performer, who has grown up my entire life seeing men dominate the industry. And so I know that to be that person that's putting those people out on those lineups is, sometimes it gets really, really intimidating for me, and I think I'm not doing a good job. But then I remind myself that you're doing the best that you can, and that's enough. And at least someone's doing it. And I know there's so many more other organizers across the world who are also putting in that effort, and we're just doing the best that we can. And I'm very, very grateful to be able to provide that for my community and also myself, because there was a part in my life where I didn't have that support. I didn't have someone to talk about my music journey with. And I hope that I can do that for folks. I really can. And I'm open to learning how to become better.
That's incredible. I mean, it sounds to me that, when you're leading with authenticity and pure intention, there's nothing that you can't do, and nothing that your community can't do. Tell me about what brought you to the Femme House Fellowship, and what did you get from the experience?
Oh my God, I love you all. You all have been such an inspiration for me, truly. I don't know how I can thank you all enough for this opportunity. Femme House came along my journey on Instagram. I'm a huge networker. I've done social media for the past 7 years professionally, like as my full-time job. And what happens with that is that you get really good at finding opportunities. You get good at searching. And so one day I just came across Femme House. I honestly cannot remember how I did. I think it might have been some sort of post or DJ mix that you all were doing that month. But something came along my feed one day, and I said, Femme House, what's this? And then I did my research, I looked into you all, and then I saw that you all were providing scholarships. And not first scholarships, but I saw that you were providing courses. And that to me was just ingenuous. I was like, that's incredible. This is what I need. So I followed you guys, and then I eventually saw that you all were providing the Teresa Velasquez scholarship, which phenomenal work on providing that community. Truly, truly, that's such an impactful thing. So I did what I could. I applied to both. And I was like, if I don't get it, then I don't get it. It is what it is. What's most important is that I tried and I didn't say no to myself. And I knew that there was a possibility that I wouldn't get it. And I was just like, okay, let me just release this expectation. And then one day I got the email from you all. And I was like screaming to my parents and to my sister. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to learn how to produce. They're going to be like supporting me. I'm going to be building a community with this nonprofit that I've been following for a couple of months now. And it just seems like really, really just so magical, so serendipitous. And I'm just very excited about it, because that opportunity in and of itself has really shifted who I am as a musician, who I am as a performer. I wanted to just DJ. That's not the case anymore. Ever since I got this, now I'm producing. I'm doing live electronic setups. I'm playing with synths. Like, I just got a Korg mini lug right here. That's her. She's the best. We got the push. She's covered because I don't want her to get dusty. And the push, I got her because you all provided me that scholarship fund. And I have those assets now. I have the gear, I have the software, I have the courses, and I'm just working hard now to push myself to produce an EP that I can hopefully release in the summer so people have something to listen to and vibe and rave at during the summer. So I'm just very, very grateful. And Femme House has been incredible. You all just keep on popping off with these things. You got the Miami Music Week career building event next week, so I'm definitely going to be attending that. So I'm just, yeah, just a lot of things that I feel have really pushed me to become a better performer, better DJ, better producer, and that's because of Femme House. And my journey has been great. I love you guys.
That's incredible. We love you too.
Yeah.
I mean, it really pumps us up. You know, part of the reason that we provide these scholarships, right? It's not just to give away free stuff. It's to make impact, direct impact. I'm sure that you know, right? Like the barriers to entry are so numerous that it's daunting to even get started.
Absolutely.
And cost of gear, for instance, is something that you wouldn't even consider until you sit down to buy some gear and you realize that you don't have any and you want to make music. Access to software, that's an expense of itself. So the fact that we can, provide these little pushes just to take away the white noise, to get you focused on being creative and trying something new and feeling comfortable to learn, it means everything to us. And the impact that we make is truly the impact that you make, and you're doing that. And so we're so proud of you. We can't wait to support your project and
Thank you,
and
though.
get you everything you need moving forward, to keep your career moving down the line.
Thank you. I want to say that Femme House made me feel less alone as an artist. And I think as a femme and gender nonconforming artist, one oftentimes feels alone, like they don't have that community or support. And receiving that scholarship and that mentoring from Minnie Bear, like I really will just have to say that in those moments, I was like, wow, somebody really does believe in me. Somebody really does see that. And that was something I really needed starting off as an electronic artist because I was making such a transition and I was in a really, really hard point in my life. I was like, I don't even know if like my family will support. I don't know if my community will support. Like I really felt huge imposter syndrome. I truly did. And then when I was awarded the scholarship and the fellowship, I that was the push that I needed. And it really just does take a village. It really does take one person believing in you. And that's, I often tell people that I mentor, people that do events with me, young baby DJs that just have conversations with me because they think I know everything, but that's not the case. I'm still learning too. We'll have conversations and I'll tell them it just takes one person. It just takes one person. And if you can be that person for someone or even yourself, that's really truly all that matters. So thank you. I just wanted to mention that that inspiration really kicked my butt into action to say it as polite as possible.
Well, I'll say it impolitely. You kicked our asses too. So you're inspiration is a self-fulfilling prophecy. We inspire you and you inspire us. It's a feedback loop where we share energy and resources and opportunity together, and that's what Film House is all about. So we're really, really glad to have you as part of the community. Tell me,
Absolutely.
we got all the mushy shit out of the way. We did a really good job of that. Tell
Yay.
me about tell me about the mix that the listeners are in for right now.
Okay, so this mix is super Latines, super like club. I've been super inspired by Latin American club music. We got a lot of Raptor House in there, which is a genre that you can find in Venezuela. We have some Guaracha, which is like from Colombia. We have a couple of like just Latin tech songs in the beginning, and then I slowly transition into a couple of like hypnotic groove. They're calling it lesbian trance in Montreal.
Cool.
So yeah, it's very cute. It's just very, very nice feeling, hypnotic groove, super melodic, and it just makes you want to get up and dance. And then I play a couple of techno tracks, maybe an acid track here and there, and that's what I've been really vibing off of lately. I don't really consider myself one genre DJ. I'm more of a open format. But I started off doing deep house and then I transitioned into techno. That's kind of what we do now super fun raver. We just play techno. But for the mix, I really wanted to highlight producers in Colombia and Venezuela, Latin America that I've been really vibing with. That are really affecting the Miami sound right now. So Miami's super into that. We got that Miami bass, we got the Latin bass. We are playing a lot of Latin club. Obviously, the techno scene here is super huge. So I really just wanted to showcase my city and just a couple of producers that I think are doing phenomenal jobs. And it's really just inspiring me to see what are the limits for production and see where I can go with that. So this mix is a little taste of vibraciones, and what you could potentially find during one of my sets. And I really hope that whoever listens to it vibes. Listen to it in your car. Listen to it when you're like walking your dog. Listen to it when you work out. It's gonna be a nice vibey time, and that's what I like to do with my mixes. Just add some variety so folks can get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I do know. That sounds great. And before we go, tell the people all the ways to find you. Tell us what's coming up for you. Any new projects? Any live gigs? Just tell us everything.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll start off with what's coming up soon. I'm working on an EP right now. Hopefully, it'll be out by the end of the summer. Really, really trying to grind that out and just do the best that I can. And then I have two events coming up for Miami Music Week. On the 21st, so we're going to be having a show at Blackbird Ordinary, which is a venue in Brickell. I'm going to be doing a 1 hour set. It's going to be super fun. Definitely show out. It's going to be an all Miami DJ showcase of local talent, and I have my close friends are the ones organizing it. They seriously deserve so much credit. They're working so hard, and I'm super excited for this one. And the following day, I'm also going to be doing another showcase with a local organizer, a friend. And then just going to be supporting all these workshops that are going to be coming into town, all these DJs that are going to be coming. Probably going to go to a couple of raves and check out some friends' performances as well. And after that, I'm just going to be focusing on production. Just keep on producing, seriously. Maybe some live electronic production as well. I'm really into synths. That's like my passion right now. So the ways that you can find me on my socials is Flowing Frequency on Instagram and TikTok. Feel free to follow me. Feel free to send me a message if you ever need some tips or if you want some help. I'm here. Or if you want maybe just some experience, like my notes on like Femme House and what they provided me, and maybe if you need help with like writing your scholarship, I don't mind. Just here to provide for my community. And yeah, thanks for so much. If you want to listen to my mixes, I have them on SoundCloud. You can also just look them through my Instagram. Everything will be linked in the bio.
Well, Victory, we appreciate your time, and we appreciate your passion for the work that we do to create equity, the work that you do in your own community to do the same. Thank you so much. We support everything that you got going on, and so if there's ever anything that we can do, I know that you can come to us, and we'll keep telling the people about all the stuff you got going on because we're excited to see you grow.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Lo. And it's seriously such a pleasure speaking with you today. It was such a great interview, and I look forward to attending any more events that you all will have in the future for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to hug it out with you finally in person in Miami in just about a week. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be everybody, and I'm going to try to pull through with a couple of friends because I really want my community to know who you all are. I have a couple of friends that would benefit incredibly from the scholarship. Really gonna push them to come do our best.
That's awesome.
Yeah, look, super excited, seriously.
Amazing. Well, Femme House fam, I am her Mix-a-Lot, aka Dad. This is Victory. See you next time. Bye.